Hey everyone, welcome to week 3 and chapter 4 of our HOS 256 hospitality management concepts. Starting out on the announcements page here, I wanted to scroll down. You'll see the announcement here that Chef Pat asked us to put out to see if anybody wanted to help out with the tacos and tequila event that we do each year that really helps our student organizations and ability to offer different types of things here at Greenville Tech in the culinary program. Um, to try to sweeten the deal a little bit, I have put the offer out there for you to, if you choose to volunteer, you have the opportunity then to um, earn some extra credit for doing so. If you participate in the Tacos and Tequila event on behalf of Greenville Tech, um, you'll have a 100 that you can use to replace your lowest test grade, assignment grade, or discussion grade um, that you at least attempted once. So again, we have multiple tests in here, not including the final, um, and multiple assignments and discussion posts that you're required to do throughout the semester to be successful. So you can replace one of those grades with a 100 again, but you have to have at least attempted it. You can't just not do it and get a 100 to replace a 0 um, for any of those things, obviously, other than the final. If you want to participate in that, please let either Chef Pat or I know so that we'll know to expect you. All right. This week, week 3 again, we're in chapter 4. The title of the chapter is Communicating Effectively. Some of the main points of emphasis there are noticing our verbal and nonverbal cues, listening as part of the communication process, and then writing, how we write effectively and professionally in the business setting, and then what we all realize is so much a part of our lives, myself included, is social media. So additional instruction here, again, due to the Memorial Day holiday, there was a delay in some of the assignments opening. So if this affected you in any way in trying to get your stuff done, please let me know individually. It is your responsibility to let me know before the fact, not after the fact. If you 2 weeks down the road say, well, that's not going to count. If you had if you were going to get it completed, uh, you would know now if it was going to affect you in any way. So please don't hesitate to reach out if that's the case. Information is there. Assignments this week. What's going to be due next Wednesday, the 8th. We'll have test number 4, discussion board number 3, and assignment number 2. And we'll go over each of those as well. So let's do that now. Going into our course content, week number 3. Your test will pop up here, and your assignment will pop up here. I'm actually going to exit the student preview so that you can see so we can go over what those things are. Okay, so again, test number 4 has the information there. It's pretty much the exact same as the last test. 30 multiple choice questions worth of 100 points apiece. All the information that you will need for this test is going to be found in chapter 4 through the things that you see here. There's a Kahoot available for you. Again, if you're not taking advantage of those Kahoots, you're really missing out. It gives you an opportunity to kind of study for what the test is going to ask you. Okay, so let's go back here. Your assignment for this week is a business writing assignment. So if you turn to pages 102 to 103 in chapter 4, you'll see some great detail on the art, if you will, of business writing. And I just said so often we neglect our writing communication skills for our verbal communication. However, it is very important for us to have a professional writing style. Again, I think a lot of times when we think about writing, we're like, we say it to ourselves in our head, and it goes out on paper or through the computer and email, whatever it might be. But the person on the other end of that may not always understand our true meaning, intentions, or tone of that. Sometimes we write and it comes off extremely harsh, or it comes off as somewhat of a pushover that it's not serious and we don't have to take it seriously, and it's just a suggestion versus a mandate. So a lot of that can be summed up in in this chapter, and try to get us on the right path for being professional writers. You'll use this a lot, even as you continue. If you're in the culinary side, um, you still have to be an effective writer and communicator as a whole in the professional setting. So, and really in any setting, it's not just for business. I mean, we need to be good communicators in our personal lives too. But for this assignment, you're going to write a memo to yourself about either um, your summer or fall semester. So really, you're going to write about any of the details you can think of. Let's say you use the summer semester, and you talk about this. You kind of lay out what's needed, what it's going to take to do it, what do you need to do to be successful, and then the intended outcome. If you look at page 103, you'll see those 10 bullet points there for better business writing. Use those to help shape your memo to yourself. Again, there's no set length to the memo, but you must at least take into consideration those bullet points there. I think one of the bullet points even says, let me see if I can blow over to it right quick. One of the bullet points even says, keep the document as short as possible. That's going to be more than one sentence. Obviously, you're going to need to make sure that you provide yourself enough information to be an effective memo. But again, sometimes less is more. As always, I put the caveat there. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Discussion board number 4, or excuse me, number 3, sorry, for chapter 4, is going to be communicating via social media. So as you'll see here, there's no denying we're in an era of keyboard warriors. So often I think that, either as a business owner or a cook or a chef or a manager in a hotel or a front desk associate, we're aware of reviews either communicated to us verbally before leaving or after the fact through websites like Yelp, Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, hotels.com, restaurant, open table, whatever it might be, right? So we're familiar with the review process. So what I've done here is given each group of students 2 reviews to respond to. So if your last name starts with A through D, E through G, or M through S, you will respond to the 2 reviews that you have listed. So again, Caldwell, I'm C. I would reply to the reviews A through D there. Number 1, unbelievable nightclub noise till 4 a.m. And number 2, winter getaway. If your name is, again, between E and G, you're going to reply to those other 2. And again, this is not you're not replying to the actual review on the website. Let's get that clear. You're replying to it in this discussion board. Okay, so provide a response to each. Communication is key to the positive or negative result. The choice is yours. Okay, as a leader, we are often tasked with communicating in uncomfortable situations, and it is evident that you are part of a business that are reviewed. Okay, I mean you're not. I get that for this unbelievable nightclub noise till 4 a.m. I believe that's a hotel in Las Vegas. I get that you are not part of that. You do not have an emotional, physical, or mental connection with this place. So this will be somewhat of a generic response. It will be general in nature, but use what you've learned in the textbook to help shape your reply. Obviously, we're not going to call somebody out. That's not appropriate. And obviously, everything's not always, rainbows and sparkles. But take the time to write out a thoughtful, true reply to the feedback that you've received in this position. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. The other caveat here too is make sure that you respond to 2 classmates with your review of their communication. Okay, things you like, things you didn't like. Again, we're not attacking anyone. It is your opinion. It is a discussion board. We are promoting a good discussion. You may say some things that you might change, but please be respectful and professional in not only your replies to the feedback of guests in these reviews, but also your replies to the feedback and communication from your classmates. All right. So those are the assignments that we have this week: the test, the assignment number 2, and the discussion board. Again, all of which are located with their due dates here for assignments that are due in our weekly agenda. Okay, so just a quick overview before we run out of time of this video is that why is communication important? So many times we get caught up in just reading the book to understand what it's saying. And a lot of times as an instructor, I teach so that you get all of the knowledge that is in this book. But what I want to make sure that we know is from page 82 is why communication is important. If we don't understand why it's important, then we will never get it, right? So looking at it from the manager side, from the supervisor side, from a leader within inside of an organization, no matter what it might be, even if it's a hospitality industry or the healthcare industry or the manufacturing and industrial industry, whatever it might be, communication is always going to be key for leaders within an organization. Okay, a lot of times we probably think of ourselves as sending the communication. We're the ones doing the talking. We're the ones giving the orders. We are the ones letting everyone know what it is they need to do, how they need to do it, why they need to do it, those kinds of things. But there's other aspects to that, right? There's more than just being the sender of information. If your communication is, let's say poor amongst your team, then that could, cause high turnover. It could cause some resentment from them because maybe a staff member feels like they're always being targeted or called out, for lack of a better term, because you're not communicating correctly with or properly with them. But as a manager, again, we can't just think about being the sender of information. We also have to receive information, and a lot of times that comes through listening, right? So as a manager, let me back up. Don't we always work for someone? You've always probably heard that. Everybody works for somebody. Whether you're the owner of the company or not, you still work for somebody, and a lot of times that might be your customer, okay? But let's just take, for instance, a manager in a restaurant, hotel, kitchen, whatever it might be. You may be a mid-level manager, let's say the kitchen manager. You still have to listen to direction from your GM or your executive chef or however the hierarchy of that works. So you still have to be a good listener. But on the other side, you have to be a good listener to your staff as well. Your staff rely on you to listen to them and to take heed to their suggestions or to their experiences, right? So that maybe it's the difference in them being berated from another staff member or a guest or something like that if you're just listening to them. Because I think a lot of times we have to realize that there are two people that we have to be extremely good listeners to, and that's our workers and our guests, because the way we supervise them, really, really can be the difference in our success, because typically we think about our staff and our employees, workers, whatever you want to refer them as, hold our success in their hands. How they perform is a direct reflection on us. And then on the customer side of things, they hold the success of the business in their hands. If we're not good communicators, both sending and receiving those messages, listening be a big part of it, then we're not going to be successful on either front. Okay, so again, why is this chapter important? Why are the assessments, or the assignment and the discussion board important? Because those are real life scenarios that you are going to find yourself in one day. Okay, you're going to find yourself in those shoes one day. That's the goal of coming to college, getting this degree, and being more aware and ready to step into the hospitality industry in a leadership role. All right, so that's just a quick breakdown of Chapter 4 and why it's so important. You've got an idea of all the assignments and tests and discussion board post that you need for this week. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. I hope you all have a great week.